Hey y'all, welcome back to the Art Journal Beginner Series. I'm Jesse Petersen, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my favorite writing tools for art journaling. Last time we talked a little bit about brushes, and now we're going to kind of talk about that next layer. So first, I want to tell you about my top 5, and then I will show you kind of how you can use them on a page. All right, so can you see this, Keenan?
Yes.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
So this is the color brush by Pentel, and this one's water soluble. And the packaging looks like this. When you look at the actual pen, you might not recognize these characters, so you're gonna have to look at the package for that. Here we go, get a little swatch of that. Okay, the next one is gonna be the Aguash brush.
And that was just a brush, right? You have to, like you just did, you
Yeah,
put the paint
so
on
I mean,
there.
it feels like a pen because you carry it around with the cap, but I guess technically it's a brush. And we'll do this one. It's a Precise V5 by Pilot. And this one is a Lyra Graphite Crayon, which is also water soluble. I really love that. Okay. And let's see.
When you say water soluble, what do you mean by that?
Oh, it will kind of move around with water. That's a really great
Okay.
question.
I assumed that, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Okay. And this is a Micron Pen, which means it's got a plastic nib. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. Okay. But if you get these wet, it will do some neat things. So that's what and I want to show you these all in a row so you can kind of compare. This one's watercolor, so if you get that wet, you know what to do there. This Precise Pilot pen does move around a little bit, not a lot. And this Crayon Graphite does. And then the Micron Pen usually just kind of stays put. So I like doing these swatches in my journal to kind of keep track of what the tools I'm using are like, especially if I'm trying something new. And what I'm hoping is that this will be your opportunity to try new things. You definitely don't need special fancy art supplies in order to make your art journal. You can use whatever you got around. But I want to offer you opportunities to try new things and see if something works for you or might add to your experience. So that's what this is all about. So now that we have these and we've named them, can move on. So here is a page that I worked on that has a little bit of tone to it. So sometimes I just will create some pages that have paint on them and gesso and texture and things like that. And I want to show you, because last time I wasn't sure, you were like, can you tint gesso? Keenan said that. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't realize it was maybe not showing on camera as much. Now, can you see that at all? This is just the gesso on the paper.
Yes and no, there's a couple glary spots.
Okay, so I want to just hit this with some, because I want you to be able to see that from last time, and then we'll build on this page with our pens. So can you see that where the texture of the gesso is showing up with the paint?
Had some invisible lines, now they're visible.
Okay, so I'm swishing the paint this way, but you can see the lines that are going that way. Let's get a little more paint on there. I just want you to see that because it's kind of neat thing.
So
Now,
you explained gesso last time, but is it just, it looks like a paste. Is that all like it is?
well, that's a great question, Keenan, thanks. Gesso is it's like a paint that has a little bit more chalky substance to it, so it seals your substrate, and the substrate is just whatever you're painting on, whether it's paper or canvas, whatnot. So here, in this case, the gesso is kind of strengthening our paper because this mixed media paper that I have here is not super thick. And it also adds us a texture. So that's a super awesome bonus to using that. Okay, well, I'm going to set this over here and let it dry. And then we'll get into these 5 pens. Okay, so you can use this water-soluble brush to make some fun sort of marks and have them just sort of add to your page however you want. You can use it to even write. What I like about it is that it has like a tiny little tip on it, so you can do little tiny marks like that. Or you can get some really big marks. I'm trying to think of, I know that Keenan likes sunset orange.
I do, that's true.
So you can do some marks like that. And maybe you want it to be a little messier or whatever, that's fine. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. So then you can kind of go back in there and move that around. So it's still a layer that you can kind of mess around with, and it's awesome. This pen also has a version that is not water soluble. So if you like the idea of having ink that you can carry around and a brush, that's great with art journaling because you want to take your art journal with you. They have that as a permanent ink that doesn't move as well, which I love. Okay, and then we can use this crayon to get some texture going on here too. If you run right into the water, it will pick it up and kind of do some neat things. And then if you, what's that?
I said, that's cool.
Thanks.
Sorry, I mumbled a little bit.
That's all right. Yeah, so some texture. It looks messy, right? But that's okay, because sometimes like you can have fun making a mess here and then let it dry, and then you'll know what to do later. So, okay, so, and I just really like the Agua brush because it's portable, and your art journal is something that's portable, and you can take it with you. For me, creating is not a luxury I have to do a lot at once, especially when I'm doing something for me and myself and my art journal. It usually happens in small increments of time, and so I like that I can take this brush with me and my journal with me, and if I have a minute, I can add a few little marks or like textures and know that that page is progressing over time. If that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Thanks. And then this pen is like one of my very favorites, and I'm going to show you this because this is kind of what I did with this pen. And I did some layering with gesso, because you can do gesso back on top of something too. I think that, there's no rules, it's mixed media, we're doing whatever. So I think this pen is really great at fluidly writing. Like, give me something to write, Keenan, I can write it really fast.
I was thinking about that page, just write chaos.
I'm like, can I spell chaos? Like, okay, chaos. So this is one of those things where, I don't know, you can just write whatever comes to mind. Write whatever comes to mind, I like it because this pen, it doesn't skip. You can write really fast with it, and it just responds. But what's neat is that then you can add water to it, and you'll still keep your marks, but it gets a little nice, like, and fluid like that. And so with this, I just tapped a little paint here, and wherever it hit that wet spots, it did a little, whatever. So
the old blooms.
Yeah, and sometimes I find that writing is therapeutic, and then I'm over what I wrote, and then I kind of make it messy, and I don't know, I was able to write it, get it out of my mind, and move on, which is a really good therapeutic sort of thing to do. Another pen that I like that I mentioned is the Micron Pen. And Micron Pen is just great for small detail. Let's see, let me just work in a journal, because I think that is a nice thing to do too. So you can see this spread that is on our product page. The Micron Pen is nice if you want to come back in and just add a couple little things.
Pick your head up a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
Thank you.
And the Micron Pen, the PN, is called plastic nib. What I like about this is that I can be kind of rough with my tools, and this holds up really well. I've used other pens like this one, which has got this is a fine 005 pen. I kind of am rough on those, and I think they're great, and you can get some really good lines with them. But I like this one a lot because it holds up. So
Nice.
you can kind of see what that one does. And then the last pen, and you'll get this in your first subscription box, is a Posca pen, and I have it in white here. So this one, you can see these white marks that I made here and here are all just that sort of last layer. That's a finishing touch, but I really like the This one, I've used that one so much it's running out. Let's see. Get this guy in here. This pen was making me a liar for a second, but sometimes when you go right back to using this pen, it just needs a minute to just getting the stuff in the pen to get it to flow. It just needs that. That's what it needs.
Can you make a few more marks without your head?
Yes!
Perfect, thank you.
You guys, there's a lot to think about here when you're doing art and you're thinking about making art and you're thinking about filming and making art and not being nervous and making your pen work the way it's supposed to. It's good. Okay. So anyway, what I wanted to say here is that this is a kind of really nice like finishing touches sort of opportunity with this white pen. And you can get some neat things here with that. And all of these tools are here to help you have some new ways to explore textures and value and color, and even with without color you can achieve some cool things. So this one has this guy getting some of this texture here, as well as our
Will you push that to the right?
This
It's good up top, but not the side. There you go.
Okay. And so I want to show you how this mark was just made by taking this pen and pulling it down. Yeah, now my pen is shaky, but that's okay because it's got a cool texture to it, right? Ooh, that got really crazy. All right. So you can just explore and you can get really neat results just even when you only have black to work with here. I hope that this will give you a sort of jumping off point on tools to try. You don't have to have all of these fancy things to get started in your art journaling. Just use what you have. But I hope that these are things that you'll be excited to try, and maybe it'll be your favorite too. If you have other writing tools that you like to use that I didn't mention here that you want to share in our Facebook group, we'd love to see that. I really love the opportunity that we have to have a conversation there. It's our Facebook group and it's called Let's Make Art Journals. And it's Let's Make Art Journals, not Let's Make Art Journals, because then there was two arts in the middle. And anyway, so I hope we'll see you there. And next time I will tell you more about paper and our mixed media journal and what you can expect from different types of journals and how to choose that. So I hope you'll join me next time. Thank you so much. Bye.